This is our gospel.
Praise to you, Lord Christ.
Please be seated. Yesterday there was a group of us from King of Life here that gathered together at the church and then carpooled to a local care home to sing Christmas carols for seniors living there. And I have to confess, as I knew there were several members of the church signed up to sing, I had briefly thought about skipping the event as I was a bit tired and had had a full day already. But something within me urged me to change my mind, to turn around on that idea, and to join the group of carolers visiting the carol. And so I did, and we made our way, and once we arrived, there was a room full of people waiting for us. And several more of the residents were brought from their rooms after we began singing. Many listeners sang with us, their eyes lighting up when hearing familiar songs, their bodies moving to the rhythms of the music. And when I looked up from my hymnal from time to time, I often made eye contact with a smiling face, enjoying the carols. And after we had completed our set of carols, before we left, I stopped to wish every listener Merry Christmas, and was received with joyful gratitude, sometimes even with tears of thanks. It was obvious to me that hearts were touched because of the time that we took to connect with those who were often most isolated, and to share the gift of peaceful music and joyful song to those hearts that needed to hear it. In that moment, I saw that I did my part to show up, and so did God. I was grateful to see the Prince of Peace at work in this moment that I could have easily missed had I not turned around. It's hard sometimes to know what is our responsibility and what is God's responsibility in life. What is in our hands to change and what is only in God's hands. What is a baptism of water for repentance, and what is a baptism of Holy Spirit and fire? What is the work of our humanity, and what is the work of our God? And on this second Sunday of Advent, we hear the voice of John the Baptist calling us to repentance. Repent, the kingdom of heaven is near. Repent, prepare the way of the Lord, make God's path straight. Repent, bear fruit worthy of repentance. Yet with repentance, it's hard sometimes to know what is our responsibility and what is God's responsibility. What is our part to change and what is God's part? What is our part to turn our lives around and what is God's part to turn us around? What is our part in living a life that is in line with the Prince of Peace and what can only be left up to God? And on this second Sunday of Advent, we hear the call to change. We hear the call for our lives to be turned around by the Spirit. Yet the deep change that comes with repentance, when fruitless trees get axed, is not something that we can do all on our own. For a tree that is sick cannot heal itself and make itself bear fruit. It needs help. It needs grace. And so in many ways, the call this Sunday then is to know there is a power that is greater than us in the world. To know that there is a power at work in our lives that can make good fruit come even from sick trees that have been cut down. It is to know that there is a power at work in our lives that can make life come out of tree stumps. And what grows will bring for us a peace that we never knew was even possible in this life. Our reading from Isaiah this morning about the shoot that comes from the stump of Jesse, about a branch growing out of its root, which is the promise for a Messiah, for the Prince of Peace to come and save God's people, reminds me a lot about nurse logs. Do you know about nurse logs? I had to look it up. Nurse logs are trees that have fallen. They are trees that are in many ways dead, and they're no longer standing. But they still have the power to produce life. As nurse logs decay, they offer shade and nutrients and water and protection for the new generation of seedlings that grow from its stumpy logs. And the decaying process of a fallen tree changes the soil to become more nutrient dense and to better support new growth. So sick trees, when they're cut down and remain with us, can actually help the new generation of trees live more fully. And they can also provide a new home for small animals and other kinds of new plants to live. In the face of death and destruction, when we think, game over, God tells us, game on. Because grace can bring us new life in any situation that we face, even in the most hopeless ones. Even when all we see are a bunch of fallen logs or stumps that are left behind around us. Or the tree stumps or the nurse logs in your own life. And how do you see God sprouting new life there? On our second Sunday of Advent, we are again asked to be honest and to name the hard truths in our lives. We're asked to name the sick trees that are in our hearts and lives. And we're asked to do so because we're not to be afraid when we do see things that need change, that need repentance, that need to turn around, that need grace. There's no need for pretense here. No need to pretend that things are better than they are, but no need to pretend that things are worse than they are either. For in our walk with God, it is important to name the reality that is. And even though there may be some difficult things out there, our reality always includes hope. For hope is grounded in the grace of Christ Jesus, and it's not a pretending matter. It's not a pretense. It's the stuff that dreams are made of. It's the stuff that real life with Christ is made of. It's the stuff that brings an unimaginable peace that we never thought humanly possible in this life. Because it isn't humanly possible, it's possible only because of God. But first, let's take a good look at what is really there. Let's take a good look at what needs to be asked in our own hearts and lives. Let's take a good look at those sick and fruitless trees that need to be cut down or have needed to be cut down and thrown into the fire of God's love, with the promise that peace will come from the one who has eyes to see and ears to hear and is able to judge us accordingly with a righteous grace. And it's okay that space is needed to be made for healing and wholeness by God's holy acts and righteous fire. We can trust that's for our good. So let's name it and not pretend. A sick tree is a sick tree. A fallen tree is a fallen tree. A stump is a stump. But God can still do a lot with sick or fallen trees because God can still bring life out of stumps. For in the face of death and destruction, when we think game over, God tells us, game over. In the face of death and destruction, when we think game over, God tells us, game over. Thank you. So where are sick or fallen trees or tree stumps in your life? And how is God going to sprout some new life there? Advent is a time when we remember the heart of our Prince of Peace, and we allow ourselves to long for a kingdom of peace that we're promised will indeed come, and that is both in some ways here and still yet to come. And in this season, I cannot pretend that I often long for a different world, a world where there's equity for all, a world where every tree bears good fruit, a world where people are filled with the knowledge of truth and have eyes to see and ears to hear. And I cannot pretend that I often long for a different world, a world where tyrants are impeached and not allowed to rule, a world where there are enough homes for everyone and people do not have to resort to tents or streets to sleep in. A world where people share what they have and no one has to go without. A world where the earth is not used up for its resources and we're able to live in that delicate harmony and receive all we truly need. And when I've done all that I think I can do to bring peace, I cannot pretend that I pray for a different world, different way for our world, and that I often cry out, "Come now, O Prince of Peace. O come, Emmanuel." Or simply, "God, help us, we need you." And in our longing for more, in our life of repentance, it's hard sometimes to know what is our responsibility and what is God's responsibility in the world, especially when we're seeking change, especially when we want peace. It's hard to know that what is our own part and what's God's part. What is our part in living a life that is in line with God's way of peace, and what can only be left up to God? For we still live in a reality of a world that is in great need of grace. Grace to prune our sick trees, to get at our sick roots, so that we bear good fruit. Grace to grow new branches, to grow new trees out of the stumps of our lives. Grace to sift the wheat from the chaff, to burn up what is not needed and keep what is life-giving. Grace to raise up life from the stones of our obstacles. Grace to tell us when we are meandering through the wilderness of our lives that the kingdom of heaven has come near and God is here and points the way of hope for us. Because hope bears fruit in our lives. Hope makes a difference in how we live and how we judge, in defining what it is that we see and hear, in defining what it is that we do when we are in the wilderness, and defining what it is that we do with our stones and our tree stumps and the wheat and chaff of our lives. And preacher Stacy Millian Carlson describes the hope of Advent as a wilderness hope. It is hope that is powered by God and not by us. It's a gift of the Spirit. It's hope that calls not only for repentance, but empowers us to repent. It is hope that is rooted and grounded in the grace of Christ Jesus. And so on this day when we're told to repent, we can trust that repentance comes to us as a gift of grace. It is a gift that gives us hope to live this life, knowing that we have been empowered to change by the grace of God, and we can let go of what is beyond our ability to the grace of God. It's a gift of grace to know when we have been wrong, because who's right all the time, right? When we have done wrong, and when we have gone the wrong way. And it's a gift also to be turned around so that we go the right way, and we know enough to do the right thing and can live in hope. And we can always remember that even though we would like to say game over, God always says,